Okay, yay. We remember to record. We just went through all the toot your own horn, so that was awesome. Now we just want to do a quick shout out to everyone whose birthday's in February. Pardon me, we're going to start not birthdays, we're going to start with anniversaries. Do any of you guys know if you have an anniversary this month?
I
Sherry?
do.
Yay. I do too, actually, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, you do. Cheryl does.
Yeah, I think I do too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cheryl. Okay, Sherry, you're on the 24th. Cheryl, you're on the 1st. You were yesterday. Yeah, woohoo. And then I guess that's it. And then for birthdays, any of you celebrating a February birthday?
Nope.
Is there anyone on our team with a February birthday, Deborah?
Yeah, that was Amanda.
Okay, yeah.
That
Happy
was the only one for
birthday.
February.
Perfect. Okay. Well, that's all for that stuff. We're gonna do a little bit of training. There's some changes happening to the rewards program with Stampin' Up. But before we get into that, I just want to remind everyone that the Twist and Dabs recognition program is coming back, and we talked about slightly last time, where I have these lovely team recognition cards to donate, or not donate, distribute based on recruitment and sales. And so I put a little reminder out there to take a look at what your January sales were. You're looking to get a minimum of 200 CSV in sales each month. If you met that, you get one of these cards. Now, you either have to be in attendance at this meeting or watching the replay and messaging me saying that yes, you did, so that I appropriately get a card out to you, because I'm not going back and tracking. I'm expecting you guys to track your own sales and then just let me know when you've reached that. So it's not in dollars, it's the CSV that we're looking for of $200. So you can let me know here if you're comfortable. If you're not, just put it in the chat or send me a text message, and I'll make sure that one of these cards for a $5 credit gets out to you. And so what do I do with these $5 credits? Well, you add them up over all the various months and the different activities that we do. And at any time when you want to cash them in for Stampin' Up! Product, you just let me know what you want me to order and you turn in your cards to me. So this is just a way of me being able to send it out to you and you choosing your own gift, as opposed to me just picking random things and sending them out.
Are we able to use them for classes or events, Tricia?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, it's a $5 reward credit. So it's either for Stampin' Up! Product orders or, yeah, my own events. Sure.
Perfect.
Any other questions? Ooh, I see Sherry said she did. I'm going to write you one right now. I have to write it when I see them, right? Otherwise, I don't want to forget anyone. Okay, and then if you recruited a member, you'll get a card for every recruit as well. Now, of course, this is in addition to anything celebrations that happened last month. So speaking of, did anyone use their tracker?
Mhm.
I haven't finished coloring mine in. In fact, I don't even know what I was using. It looks like I was using a blend. So just a friendly reminder to keep tracking your sales, because Stampin' Up! Will give us rewards in March based on where we met every dollar counts. If you know anyone that wants to join or wants a discount on their craft, I mean, they don't need to be doing this for sales. They can just do this to buy their own stamping, their own craft supplies. Consider inviting them, because it's such a good deal. I think that's why so many of us have anniversaries this month, because it was a good deal. We got extra free stuff. Back in the day, they gave you extra stamp sets. They didn't give you cash. Like right now, when we meet each milestone, we get different credits. But back in the day, I remember getting 6 stamp sets for sales, another 6 stamp sets for recruiting. Like I ended up with like 15 stamp sets. It was crazy. Anyways, that's what that's all about. I'm going to hand it over to Sue, if she's back.
I was never gone.
Okay, good. She's just hiding. Someone's at my door. I have to go answer it. But Sue's going to kick us off to tell us what she learned about the new reward program, which I understand isn't going to be implemented now until mid-April. But I noticed when I went online today, it's already kind of changing. So fill us in, Sue.
Okay. Hi. Okay, so first I'll go through why they're doing a new rewards program, which is they feel that it'll be more accessible to everybody because of the way they're setting it up. And it's still going to have a gathering focus, so still wanting people to get together and do crafting and whatever. And then it'll allow more orders to be eligible. The current program, 59% of orders don't qualify for any rewards. And now with the new program, 94% of orders will qualify for rewards. And you can find all the information about this on the Connect and Learn. Their objective is to simplify and make things more relevant to customers and demonstrators. And they feel it will incentivize repeat customer purchases. So how it's going to work is your customer is going to get 10% of product cost to be used for future orders. So you could order now and then turn around and order again using your 10%. And obviously you can't use it for the same order you're placing to earn that 10%. Rewards can be saved up and combined. And in order to receive your rewards, you need a minimum threshold, which is $25. So once you hit a $25 order, you start earning rewards. And qualified purchases are going to be ones that meet that minimum threshold after any promotions, discounts, and redeemed rewards, and before taxes and shipping. Your rewards can be earned as a gift from a demonstrator to another demonstrator or customer, and by demonstrators through Stampin' Up compensation plan based on certain accomplishments and title benefits. I didn't like make super notes on all this stuff because I just didn't. Anyways, and it's not fresh in my head anymore. So, but like I said, everything is on the Connect and Learn. So for demonstrators, earnings and purchases, qualifying purchases must meet the minimum threshold required on commissionable product after any promotions, discounts, and redeemed rewards, and before taxes and shipping. So if you make an order and you redeem some rewards, the rewards on that order are going to start after that.
So it
Does
doesn't
everybody?
count so it takes the discount, like you're discounted off, so you're only getting the rewards on the
Yeah.
amount.
It's gonna take everything off, and I believe you still need to meet that minimum threshold, right? But I think that threshold starts with the whole order. So yeah, is the way I understood it anyway. Where else do I go here? Rewards. Hang on a second here. Okay. So once you've met, you earn 10% of your commissional product purchase, and with the rules stated above, like say that I just mentioned in Stampin Rewards. And then they have an earnings compensation plan, and there's something called Quick Start, and then also something to do with 5-year anniversary. And then once you do those things, you get an extra 2% product bonus for silver and above. And then they talked about gifting and why we should be gifting. So gifting allows you the ability to personalize the program and host rewards, do team recognition, thank yous, personalized incentives, and gifted rewards will expire in 90 days. So if you gift some rewards that you have to a customer or another demonstrator, those rewards expire after 90 days. And the reason that they're doing that is to incentivize the recipient to use them right away. They don't want, because they're going to be sitting on their books. I believe these rewards are all going to expire after a year as well. So you need to be using them.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So
And they
same
say
thing.
that that has to do with accounting, right? They don't
Oh,
want to
yeah.
have that. It's like debt. They don't want to have that debt sitting on their books from one year to another. So they put an expiry date on them.
Yeah, exactly.
So
That's a
an
reminder
example.
for me because like
Yep.
as you guys bank up your $5 credit cards from me, obviously I'm going to be trying to bank my rewards on my account to kind of gift prizes and amounts to you guys. So you'll just keep that in mind that you'll want to make sure that if you are selecting product that you're going to order sooner than later so that I can gift you the credit. I mean, alternatively, I can just place the order myself, but I think they're trying to get it so that, you can add it onto your own order. And so it's properly tracked because that's not happening right now, apparently.
So they clarified with the expiration dates that if you, let's say you earned a reward on June 12th of 2024, that reward will expire 12 months after, but on June 30th, so 2025. So they'll give you the whole month, even though it was partway through the month when you earned it. So they'll always expire the last day of the month and 3 months after they're gifted. So if you use them to be gifting to people, then they're going to have a 90-day expiry. And so if you gifted in July, on July 28th, 2025, they're going to expire October 31st, 2025. And then rewards earned through compensation plan expire on the last day of the month, 6 months after they're earned by the demonstrator. So if earned in December and awarded with January commissions, they expire June 30th.
And I think that that's longer than we have now. Like something tells me we usually only have 2 or 3 months with those that they give us the credit for different things. So I think
Oops.
that that's an extension.
Mhm. Oh, give me a second here. I just lost my sheet.
Like, would that include celebrations unless they change how celebration credits are earned next year? I guess we'll find out.
Hang on a second here. I just lost my page. Okay, there it is.
We're going to
My
be
God.
hearing all more about this, you guys. This is just one more way of hearing it. You're going to see it in your news. You're going to get emails, I'm sure. Like, we'll hear this a few times.
Yeah, they're still tweaking it. There's still going to be information coming out about it. Um, and yeah, they said that they're obviously going to keep everybody updated. And this isn't supposed to be completely rolled out until the middle of April. So a couple of other things. Now, Stampin' Up. Hang on, I got to find my spot here. Okay, so we're also going to have a dashboard. Everybody's going to have a dashboard. Now, the other thing, in order to get these rewards, your customers all have to set up an account. So if you have customers that don't want to set up an account, they're not going to earn those rewards. They need to have an account. It's just as simple as that. The rewards will be tracked. Each person's going to have an account. Demonstrators won't have access to their customer's account. So there's no concerns there, and that's being done for privacy. And this is, they said, customer data protection. Reward history will track for 1 year periods. So you'll be able to go in and see what you did, what you earned, what you redeemed. And it will show what's available and what's about to expire. So they showed us a sample of it on this dashboard, and it's a little icon at the top. I believe it's going to be on the right-hand side. And you would click on that and it'll actually show you everything. And it'll have two little boxes, and one will say what you currently have, and one will say what is about to expire on the date that it's going to expire. So you use Stampin' Up! Rewards in your business to help you grow by providing customers opportunities to earn and redeem rewards. They feel that this is going to be a boost for business, and that you could use it for a selling point, right? So you will earn commissions and discounts on orders after your rewards have been applied, similar to today with different timing. And rewards cannot be used for starter kits, and customers can only earn rewards if they have an account. They can still order as a guest, but will not earn rewards. They can order through you, and you will earn the rewards on their order. And you can decide if what you want to do with those rewards. If you want to gift it to them, in which case they'll expire in 90 days. Paper Pumpkin will be eligible for rewards as long as it meets the threshold. And also Paper Pumpkin will be going to the online store and moving away from paperpumpkin.com.
If by chance say what the threshold is, Sue?
It's $25.
Oh, okay, cool. Thank you.
So I believe that your Paper Pumpkin meets the threshold.
Yeah, it does because it's like 30.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It might be different for, so while I'm talking about that, so it might be different in the States, right? Because the threshold is $25 and it doesn't matter what currency, they're maintaining that $25, right? So it doesn't matter if it's in US funds, they have to meet $25. Canadian funds, you have to meet $25. If it's in Dutch, whatever their money is, it's $25. So that's going to be the same across the board. So there's less confusion, they said.
Wow.
Sue, it's interesting because I can't remember, Stampin Gala or somebody, and she had a thing on her website and it says Paper Pumpkin for them. It says shipping is included in the price, which will reduce the value below the $20 threshold to earn rewards. And it says subscribers who only order one kit per month will not earn rewards. You must get 2+ kits per month to earn rewards.
So how much is our kit though in Canadian dollars? It's more than that, is it not?
Yeah, ours is 32, but they're saying, you know how you said $25 all across the board?
Yep.
This says $20.
No, the 25 is the amount that they gave us.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. And he did talk about that it was going to be the same dollar amount all the way across. So
Okay.
I'm not sure how that's going to play out, but
That's what she
then they
said.
Yeah, then they talked about clubs and they said there will be further discussion later on clubs, but reward programs should only enhance clubs and make less work for demonstrators. Not being part of clubs, I have no idea what that's about. And then the reward programs will roll out in North America on April 8th and 15th. So I'm assuming that maybe in the States, it'll be the 8th and here the 15th. And tax will be paid on the reward amounts. So if you order something and you use rewards to buy it, they're going to add tax to that. And then more information to come as the program's getting ready to roll out. So I've been checking to see if there's been any further updates on it, but there hasn't.
So Sue,
Not that I've seen.
the current program now, I mean, for us, it's 200 and above, you get 10% of Stampin Rewards, and then it goes up with all the different increments. We get 12%, 14%, 16%, and that one item at 50% off. Does that mean that's completely scrapped as of April 15th then? That's done?
Well, the way that I read this, I think so. I think you're just going to be getting your rewards, which is going to be 10% of everything over that $25, right?
Yeah.
But then where did I have that where I said about if you were a silver, hang on a second, earning purchases.
I know
Yeah.
one of the things that we were always saying that as you promote into silver and silver elite and gold, there's not much difference in like there's no extra perks for being that other than uh, like one event attendee. And so I'm wondering, so sorry, Sue, I'll let you. I'm hoping that there's
No.
additional perks at those different levels.
All that I have in my notes is that there would be a product bonus, right? And I believe you have to be with Stampin' Up! 5 years is what I'm understanding this because I wrote anniversary, so 5 years and more, and you would get a product bonus of 2% as long as you were silver and above.
Okay, so that's what it is now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know necessarily there's a year limit on that.
So I guess that's not changing, right? But yeah.
Yeah, but Sue, I think or I mean, Sherry, I think you're right. Like, because I think that's why all the demonstrators are kind of upset about this because they are losing those
Yeah.
extra perks. for
Yeah.
that's what they rely on for prizes or for like additional materials to use at their classes. But the focus is more on putting it back in the hands of the customer, because they're feeling like, they can't to make it like to pay $10 on shipping
Yeah.
for in order it's $200 to get that minimum, not to pay shipping, but also to get that minimum host credit. Whereas this
Yeah.
way, they can, if they choose, just put in a $40 order, pay the $10 shipping, and still get the, bank credits on that $40.
Yeah, which is 10% of everything over the 25 less shipping and yeah.
Yeah.
So and they did do the numbers on it and they said currently it's 59% of orders don't get anything. They don't qualify for any kind of rewards or free product. And then with this new program, 94% of all orders are going to qualify for rewards. Which makes sense, right? As soon as you order $25, anything over that, you're getting a reward.
Mm.
Which I think they're thinking will bump business.
Well,
The
and then
only little catch is going to be getting people because I know people that don't mind ordering, but they don't want to have an account because they feel like with an MLM that as soon as I have an account, they're going to be pestering me with emails and pestering me with right.
they already get all the emails.
Yeah, I know. So a lot of people don't want to get an account for that reason. So the sell will be get the account because you can get, unless as a demonstrator, like they said, you decide, okay, well, I'll make your order for you. And then it's up to you what you do with their points, right? Do you give it to them some other way or do you keep it?
No, that's okay. I think it's just another change to help people get online, to be able to view those online exclusives and purchase things before they sell out, because by waiting on a demonstrator order, sometimes you're missing out, right, Lorette? And so that's just going to help them, go online. I mean, I know it's not going to be for everyone. It's going to be a hard transition, and we get that. But at least they're doing it on a focus to give everyone some credit on the sales that they earn. It's going to be interesting. They're listening to both sides, the customer side, the demonstrator side, and it sounds like they're still considering things too. So that's good to know. And
Yeah.
because I think that that's where demonstrators have screamed the loudest is about their clubs. So what a club is like back in the day, some of you might remember the 10 for 10s. There's some people who still hold it where you have 10 people in a club for 10 months and everyone spends a certain amount of money, so that each month someone is a hostess and you get all that credit. But now without hostess
Oh, okay.
credits, they don't have a ways to get credits. But I guess the idea is that maybe, one or one customer can put in an order for everyone at that month. They're going to earn all the credit based on the bulk sales, and then it'll just move to someone else the next month. So I think it'll still work. It's just, how large that credit is might be a little bit different.
From month to month, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, one way they could do it is you can hold those points for 12 months, right? And then split them evenly if you were in a club, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, there'll be some fancy way. But again, I like that Stampin' Up! Is making this change to try and make things simpler. To me, as soon as I have to start messing and adding and doing things, that's not simple anymore.
Yeah.
Um,
The thing with clubs though, like you would like, because I used to be in them with Brenda, and it would be like you had a minimum amount that each person had to put in, so it didn't matter what you ordered as long as it was that amount. So your rewards would still be the same regardless of who was the hostess at that time.
right.
Mhm.
Whereas this now, because if say you have 7 people, all part of a club, and like say Kim, yours is the first month, and everyone's orders all together. Like, yeah, you have a minimum, but maybe some people spend more. So now you're at $500 in sales. You're getting a $50 credit this month. But next month, everyone's buying more because maybe there's some more promotions, and then it's $750 in sales. But now that person's getting $75 credit because the 10% automatically goes to them, right? So it'll be a little different to keep it fair.
It could be that,
Um,
but over the years that I've done it, we've all been pretty good at like if it was $45, we spend $45 because it's a lot of money regardless, and you're already a demonstrator yourself. So like I mean,
Yeah.
you're adding another thing that you could have been doing yourself, but
Yep, that's true. And you know what? And maybe that's what it is. You're all strict on like a 50 or $60 order, whatever that might look like. But if you want to top up your own, you can, right?
yeah,
To get more
yeah.
credit. That might be the way to do it.
and then that's you're spending it, so it should go towards you.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, thanks, Sue. That was a great update. Did anyone have any questions for her? Any more questions for her about that? So Sue took it on. Stampin' Up's been had, I think, 3 or 4 different videos at different times, so demonstrators could go and check it out. I just wasn't able to make it, so Sue went on my behalf. I thank you very much, Sue.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, well, does anyone have any other stamping business before we get into crafting? Okay, well, Kim, I'm going to hand it over to you.
This time I got my phone set up better, so hopefully you'll see better. I thought we'd start with the easiest card first. And I don't know what the real name of this card, but if you notice, if you've looked online or anything, it's very popular right now. Like everybody's doing this. As I just called it the tear card, but I'm sure there's probably a better name for it, but I don't know what it is. But it's a unique way of getting this look, which is a tear in the middle, so it looks like your card is being ripped apart. So in your kit, you should have, we'll go through all the pieces. Piece of Shy Shamrock at 4 1/4 by 3 1/8. A piece of DSP 12 by 12 is what it normally size is, but it's 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, and it's Bloom Expression from Celebration. It's that one that has like the kind of watercolor wash on one side, and then you have very florally bright colors on the other. Then you're going to have a piece of basic white 5 1/2 by 4 1/4, and it's just going to make our front a little bit stronger and cover up all the stuff you don't want to see. And then you're going to have a little piece of cardstock, which I already stamped the little butterfly on, and I'll show you what to do with that. And then your cardstock is thick basic white, so it's the thicker one, and it's 4 1/4 by 9 1/2, and you score it at 5 1/2. So if you look at it, it's not like our normal card size, and that's okay, even though this ends up being a normal card size, but I'll show you what to do. The stamp set we're using in this one is Beautiful Butterflies, and I use this little butterfly here. And I also used, in case you need me on here, because this month we were focusing on love and caring, so that's our caring card. And then the ink I used was Blackberry Bliss. And the embellishments that we're using is, again, another celebration item, and it's the purple adhesive back sequence. And this time we went with the Fresh Freesia color, where last time we went with the little darker color. But I mean, you get tons in this package, and they're gorgeous, so stock up when you can. Another thing you're going to need, of course, is your regular adhesive, dimensionals. You're going to need Wink of Stella, your bone folder, and maybe paper snips in case you need to trim anything. You'll have to fussy cut the butterfly. So we'll just color the butterfly first because it's small. So you just take your Wink of Stella, make sure you shake it. Sometimes I forget. And you just do a test squeeze off to the side, because sometimes, I don't know about you, but sometimes my Wink of Stella markers tend to be quite juicy sometimes. And then all you're going to do is basically blend over top on the butterfly. So not only are you adding a bit of moisture to it, so that carries that ink over, so it gives that lighter color of ink, but it also gives you that nice pretty sparkle too. And you can do it as light or as dark as you want. And that's basically all you do. So it gives that little bit of tint of color. It looks like a stained glass butterfly. And of course gives you a bit of shimmer too. And then we'll just put off the side because that's fussy cutting. Then we'll get our card base and our Shy Shamrock piece. So the 2 pieces you want next. Just gonna take. And then you're gonna fold over where I scored. And yes, I did score it this time just because it's an odd shape card. And you needed to know where that fold is going to be. So give yourself a really good fold. And as you can see, I have stamped the words at the very bottom as low as I could go. And then you're going to take the shamrock and you're going to put it over that flap. Not tape it or anything, just leave it loose. And you're going to line it up. You want to give it a bit of space so that you, at the top and the bottom, you could do it equal if you want. You could, move it wherever you want. I think I'll go about there. Now this is going to be a little tricky because it is thick cardstock and also regular cardstock, but just go slowly, and you're going to hold it firmly, and you're going to start up here, and you're going to start your rip, and you're going to go all the way to this corner and rip. But you want these two pieces together when you do so. So you're just going to, you want to rip towards you. There you go. See how you just got to get a start, and then you're just going to make sure that paper stays nice. And you're just going to work your way slowly. Like I said, thick cardstock is a little bit tougher. You're just going to keep going. Make sure that paper is still level with the edge. Keep ripping until you get it like that. So there you got your pieces, and there's your top pieces. So then you're going to need your tape. And you don't want to put tape right close to this edge, because you will need to manipulate that later. And you don't want any tape here or here. You just want a little bit right along in there. And it could be liquid glue, it could be whatever, and then what you're going to do, you want to make sure that you don't want to see any like that. You want to make that line up to the edge. And then you also want to make sure that you see a little bit of green. It's up to you how much you want to show. I'm going to go about there. So now that's my bottom of my card. It looks like that. I'm going to do the same thing now with the top part of my card. And I'm just going to mount that part same way underneath that. So again, you just want a little glue here, nothing on the outsides or anything like that, and nothing close to the actual ripped edge. You want to make sure the edges are equal to the sides. Again, that's up to you to decide how much you want to peek through. You just give it a rub. So now that's how that part looks. And now I have a floaty bit. Right? So then once we do that, we're going to bring in our square piece of DSP. And we're not going to glue yet. We're just going to lay it on the inside of our card just nicely, so that's kind of equal space from the top of your score line and from the bottom of your card. And you're just going to place that in there like loose, like so. Then you're going to take your glue. I'm going to do the one piece at a time. I find it's easier. Just line that up again. And then I'm going to fold that down. So now it picks up that piece. So now when I like this, I want to make sure my bottom's lined up to the bottom of the white backing of the card. And then that's how I know where I want my glue. So I want a little bit of glue there. And I'm going to line up that bottom floaty piece so that the edges are lined up at the bottom and on the sides. We can come in and put some more glue once you figure out where everything is. But you don't want it on that white piece because you want to be able to open it up, right? So now you can come back and put a little extra glue here and there so that that piece stays together. Like I said, if you find that you need to trim it a bit, then you can go through your cutting blade and just trim off any excess that maybe didn't fit. So that's the first part. And now see the inside kind of looks, ugh, no one likes that look. So this is where that white piece comes in. And it's basically to cover up so it looks pretty inside. So then this is where I put the adhesive on the DSP piece and on that white piece. And you want to make sure you don't want to go right on top of that score line. You want to line it up just kind of off it a little bit. Try and make sure it's lined up to your edges. And then squish it together. So now the inside of your card looks pretty. So now you don't see the back of your DSP. And then the fun part comes. Now we got it all stacked, we got all that. Now we get to take our fingers And this is where you can bend it. You can rip it. You want to fold it back, and we're doing the white edge first. That's why you don't want any glue right at the edge, because you need to be able to maneuver the look of this paper. You take your nail and scratch it up a bit, make it really messy. Then you got to turn around and do the next piece of white. A bit of a tear. You just want to make it really shabby. That's the first layer. Then we're going to do the same thing for that green layer. You're going to take your fingers and then roll that green layer up as well. And while you're doing that, you're smashing the white layer a bit too. Again, you can rip and tear. You can do it as much or as little as you want. It's your card. And then you got to clean. Get the tear, I think. And keep rolling and folding. And then you just smush it down. And that's basically how you get your tear card. Then you're going to take your butterfly. Like I said, it's a pretty simple fussy cut, this one. Around the edge. Of course, you could add marker splatter. You could do whatever you want. They got this one fairly on the simple side. Let's trim up the little body of the butterfly. So there you got your butterfly. Because I have this horrible mark, then you take your fingernails and you're just going to kind of scrunch up the little wings a little bit, because butterflies aren't really flat. So you want to scrunch it up a little bit. Then you go take a dimensional. And I'm going to put my butterfly there just to cover up my boo-boo that I had on my paper. Then you're going to take your gems, and I gave you 3. It could be 3 big, 3 little, 3, I don't know. It's just whatever I had. But I thought it went really well with the card colors. One right below the butterfly. And then a little one up over here. Because this was close, I'll just do a pink one up there. And that's how you get your ripped tear card without using a full sheet of cardstock. But yet still is a regular size card. And also, another good embellishment would have been, and I never even thought of it at the time, because I was focusing on the celebration, but it's really pretty too, is this new itty bitty broke mix. It's got pinks and blues and iridescent, and it's like an interesting shape. I'll just put one on, but that would be really pretty too. There's a little bit different look to what we have, and inside it also has like smaller hexagon shapes in it. It's really, really pretty. So if you didn't have the ones for celebration, you could use these too, and they're new. Can't remember. I think it comes with the butterfly bundle, if I remember correctly. But that's another option. And that's it for that card. Any questions?
Hey, Kim, that's a super cute card. I'm glad you're sharing that trending technique with us.
Like I said, I'm not 100% what it's really called, and I'm not sure who the original person was, but I did put on your Facebook page who inspired me, the idea I got from that lady. but I can't remember her name off the top of my head. But I don't think she's the original person. But
Oh no, we've been doing this tearing stuff for decades. I can actually say that now. 2 decades. I'll be doing this for 21 years. This,
what's old is new again.
yeah, exactly. What's old is new again. Except with stamping and crafting, we actually continue to do it. And we're okay doing all these old techniques where you will never catch me wearing bell bottoms like my mom did ever.
No, I'm never going back to that. But they think they look cool and everything, but what they forget, especially in winter and spring, is they get so filthy and so wet that they just hang off because of all the extra weight of moisture. And if you don't want to add the butterfly, you don't have to. It's just an option because I made a boo-boo, so I wanted to show you how you can cover up a boo-boo. Because I'm really good at covering those. Embellishments are your friend.
Yes, they are.
And I left the inside blank so that you guys could, because I don't know if you want to put, get well or whatever you want, so I just left it there. And if you didn't have Wiggistone, you could also do this with a blender pen as well. Because all you're doing is carrying that bit of moisture out of the pen to get that ink to come off a little bit. You just wouldn't have the sparkle, but the idea would be the same. And each card will be different. It all depends on where you rip and how you do the technique. I can see this being really cool as a window card with a window sheet in there and maybe like have little gems in there and stuff.
That would be cool as a little shaker card for sure.
And I apologize if anyone's hearts, candies in their little treat kit got melted. I didn't use my head, and I was working on the cards, so I just sat them on my laptop, not thinking about anything. And then I went to go move them, and I'm like, oh, these feel a little warm. So then I threw them in my fridge. They're still good to eat, but they might be just a little mushy.
Well, and then they froze from hanging outside of my mailbox for 2 days.
Well, there you go. They're going to be nice and firm then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have one to show you, but Tricia can show you what the treat looks like. I wasn't going to do bees again, but then I saw that little bag. I'm like, oh God, I couldn't help it. Oh yeah, there she is.
I saw you post a little treat bag with the bees. Cheryl had gone already that week to go pick up some of those bags, and I thought, oh, you found them too. They're so cute.
Where did you get these bags, Kim?
I think it was at the Dollar Tree.
Okay.
Remember correctly. There's quite a few in the package. I can't remember how many there was, but
Oh, they're cute.
I think there's 30 in the package and it was Dollar Tree.
yeah.
I wish they'd get one in Leduc.
Oh, me too.
Oh, God. I don't always get into the city and go there. They call me now a Dollar Tree addict.
I always go to Beaumont.
That's where I go too. That store is way better.
Oh, yeah. But they have such cute little things too. Like And I find the crafting sections better too.
Yeah.
Empty here. This one's a little bit more. It looks a lot, but it does go quickly. It does a lot of bits.
Tricia, with all this tariff stuff going on, is this going to affect any Stampin' Up stuff?
Good question. I haven't heard yet. I will listen. It all depends on what it is they end up putting tariffs on. In the past, this isn't the first time we've had high tariffs. Like over the last 20, 30 years, we've had them lots. And what I found is that they end up applying them on paper products. So, but all of those years that they applied on paper products, when I ordered from companies outside of Stampin' Up, I was charged it. But Stampin' Up never increased their prices and never put that tax on us as demonstrators before, like or on our orders, and they never really increased the prices. So I'm not anticipating it's going to have much of a change, but I can't say for sure because I do know, like I said, from ordering from other companies, I have paid it on paper products.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah. No, I'll definitely keep my ear to the ground.
There's a lot of parts to this next card, Kim.
Yeah, I know. And be careful when you open your package. You're going to have some really stinking small stuff in there.
Yeah,
You're going to have a bunch of little fish that are
I
very,
know.
very tiny
They're so tiny.
and stuff. So yeah, there's like I said, there's lots of little itty bits, a lot of greenery. You're going to have like little fish that are super, super tiny.
Yeah, I know. Like,
And that, and this is where our love card comes in, but not a regular love card, like not like Valentine's per se with hearts and all that type of thing. They went something a little bit different with the otters because they're so cute. And it's a double gatefold card. Ta-da! Let's go. Open. Some of you might have this color, which is the blue. I believe it's balmy blue. Some of you guys will have more of a greeny blue color water. It's just with the paper I had to use what I had. So I think there's only two of you guys that might have the same color as me, and the rest are all like the Lost Lagoon greeny blue. So let me know when you're ready for me to go through all the bits and bobs. Again, on the website, I put who I got this idea from, but I can't remember her name. I did a few changes only because of my supplies. So, but they were minor changes. Doesn't make a big difference with the card outcome. And I did use the finger doppers and the blending brushes. Because some of the stuff's so tiny that the finger doppler just worked better. And if you notice on your little stamped critters, if you feel your fingers and you feel like it's a little bit sticky, it's because I had to use washi tape. If that is the case, then just use your eraser I take that off before you start coloring. And then it will color a lot better once you get any adhesive off, if there is any. I tried to make sure I got them all pretty much clean, but I might have missed one. You ready to move on to the next card?
Yep.
All right. This is a double gatefold card. Let's see if it goes. Okay. The thing I changed on this card versus the original is on this section here, this piece here, they had the matching DSP, which was really pretty, but I didn't have enough to go around, so I had to maneuver in a way that everybody had, you know, enough to get the majority of the card finished. And so I just decided to run it through an embossing folder to make it look like rock kind of thing, like a rough edge. So that's really the only difference. And I used different colors than they did. They used pretty peacock instead of the gray granite, which looks really pretty too, but the gray granite I liked as well because it does go really nice with the sea color, and it also goes really nice with early espresso. So I just kind of switched out a few things, just thinking, like I said, because of what I had. So in your kit, you're going to have some of this cording, which is really pretty, and it's really nice to tie, and it's Lost Lagoon soft cording. You guys all have like a little bit and stuff like that. So you all have that. So just put that off to the side. We're not going to go do anything with that quite yet. You guys are going to have these embellishments, which look like, I thought they looked like little rock or, you know, gems, but they're Riverside irregular pearls, and they're iridescent, so they kind of shine all different colors. So you guys should have a big one and a couple of the smaller ones, but they're really, really pretty. And then the inks I use, of course, Mento, because we're using our blends, so that's why I used that. And then I also did Versamark, which I already pre-did for you, where I embossed the words "Love You Lots" on the paper of Pretty Peacock. So that's already done for you. So, and you guys all know how to emboss, so I wasn't going to show you that technique. The other inks I used was Lost Lagoon, Gray Granite, Granny Apple Green, and Pretty Peacock. So you'll need those. The stamp sets I used was Beautiful Butterflies, and all I used out of here was the dots. You can use any dots from any stamps. I know we have lots that have like those little fine dots or little whatever. All I'm doing is stamping on the little rocks. And if you don't have a stamp set, don't freak out. Just use your marker, like your stamp and write marker in black or whatever color you have that coordinates, which is Great Granite and Early Espresso, and the other color. But, and you can just do little doodle dots to make, because all I'm doing is making the rock a little rough looking, and that's all that stamp. It's the only stamp I use was that one. And then I use the Stylish Shapes die, and that's for the circle, which will be changing from white to two different colors. And then the other stamp set I used was Utterly Amazing. And you got this little guy that's floating on his back. You got the little baby. And then you got, I call it the mom and dad, with a little bit of greenery. And Love You Lots is where I got the words from as well. So those are the stamps I used. The embossing folder I used was Exposed Brick because I wanted to look, like I said, like a rocky, rough look. So that's the embossing folder that I used. And the other dies was the Utterly Amazing dies because I cut out the greenery, the fish, and the rocks, and the little critters as well. And there's lots of other ones, like there's like the log and some bigger fish and some other things that I didn't use, but there's lots of dies in this set, and it's quite cute. So those are the things I used there. The other thing you're going to need is you're going to need a blending brush for your blues and greens, and then a finger dauber, and I just used it for like dark colors, like dark browns and stuff like that. So you're going to need that. The blends I also used the Pretty Peacock Write marker, not a blend, because I'm doing flicking with this. So that's what that's for. And then I'm using the color lifter so that you can lighten some of the areas. I'm using light bubble gum or bubble bath. I want to say bubble gum. This is for the cheeks. That's an option. If you don't want to do cheek coloring, you don't have to, but I just think they look cuter with the cheeks. And then I'm using dark and light Pretty Peacock. I'm using dark and light Crumb Cake. And then I'm using Pebble Path Dark. And then I'm also using, no, this is Retire Color. If you have Pecan Pie, feel free to use that. I thought I did, but I couldn't find it. Or if you have any of the skin tones and browns, that is on the lighter side, feel free to use that, but I use the light soft suede. And then the other one, again, I thought I had it, but maybe I don't, is lemon lime twist. But I just used Parakeet Party. Because really, the amount that you use it, you're kind of coloring and blending it in with another color. You're not going to really overly tell. Another color you could get away with is Granny Apple Green. If you don't have that color, it's just you're wanting a bit of brightness because you're trying to match the paper. And again, Winkestella as well, because you're going to be using that over top of the ink when you're done doing the leaves and stuff. So those are all our colors. So I'll just put those off to the side for now. And then we're going to discuss all our parts and pieces. Because like Laurette said, there's lots. So we'll just do the card bits first, because I think that's easiest. And then we'll slowly put part of this together to a point. And then we'll come back doing the coloring and all the other stuff. So in your kit, you should have 4 pieces. You're going to have 2 of the DSP, which is Otterly Adorable. So that's where you have like the little otters on one side, and then the other side has like a water look. So you're going to have 2 at 1.5 by 4, and then you're going to have 2 at 1 3/4 by 4. So make sure you don't mess, like one's going to be a little bit wider than the other. So you have 2 of those. Then you're going to have their matting panels, and 2 are going to be wider than the other ones, and they're gray granite. And you're going to have 2 at 4 1/8 by 1 7/8, and then you're going to have another 2 at 4 1/8 by 1 5/8. So those all go with that. Then you're going to have a basic white piece that's 3 1/4 by 4. That's for the inside of the card. And this is this matting piece, gray granite at 4 1/8 and 3 3/8. So that will like mat onto that. That goes in its little compartment over there because we're not done with that yet. Then you're going to have the piece of gray granite that I've already pre-embossed for you, which is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Then you're going to have that matting piece of Early Espresso at 5.5 by 4 1/4. So that's going to go on top like that. So you can put that little cluster together. Then you have the main piece of your card, which is Early Espresso, which is 4 1/4 by 11, which is long ways. And then you score it at 2 inches and 3 1/4, like here. And then you're turning your paper around and you're scoring it again. I've already pre-did the scoring, which I said, I know most of the time I don't do this, but because this is a fun fold card, I did. So we're going to just go and fold these folds first. So you're going to fold one side in, where you're going like the furthest away. Then you're going to fold the other one out on top of itself. You want to make sure those are really nice and folded. Like that. Then you're going to do the same thing again. That last score mark right here, you got to fold in. Just nice and crisp. Then you're going to take that flap and you're going to fold it away. And that's how you get your double gate. So that's when it's closed. That's when it's open. Closed and open. So that's the main part of the card. So then we can go get the 2 pieces here, the granite that's all embossed, and your panel. And we're going to just mount these together. Where did I put my glue? And it's up to you if you want to use liquid glue, if you want to use tear tape, whatever preference you prefer. And you just want to make sure you have a nice border. So it'll be a small border, but you want to try and get it around the whole thing, like so. Give it a nice press. And with the liquid glue, that does give you a little extra time to wiggle around if you need to, versus like the tear tape or seal. Then we're just going to put that piece off to the side because we're kind of finished with that until the end. Then we're going to take our 4 little pieces of gray granite. Got 2 big and 2 a little bit smaller, and you can see there is a difference in size. Then we're going to take our DSP. I'm going to have 2 big. You're going to have 2 a little bit smaller, and those are going to go on top of the gray granite. We can do that. Again, you want to have a little bit of a border.
Kim, can I see your sample again?
Okay, thanks.
So that's one panel. We're going to take the next one.
The back side of that paper is so pretty
I know.
too.
I have a hard time when it has cute critters on the other side. Then I'm like, oh.
But the rest of it is busy enough.
I'm going to cover them up with glue. So I always wish they would put more like this and then put more of this on a separate sheet so then I can, snip away. But I think on the other color paper you have greenery on the other side, if I remember correctly. It's like a leaf pattern. It's really pretty too. Like seawater or I guess seaweed. Yeah, seaweed. So then we're going to do the big panel. There's all our little panels. So we have our two big, we have our two little. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our little and put it on that inside flap and the big on the outside flap on each side. So when you have your card and it's closed, you're opening it up and you're putting that little one right on that first, in between those first two score lines. And again, use whatever adhesive makes you happy. And make sure you have a space between. Nice border if you can all the way around. There's a little piece. Then I'm taking my big piece. Again, making sure it's in between those score lines and the edge of the card. And you want to make sure you try and line it up so that these top panels are equal up here. You don't want this one tight up here and this one way down here. You want to make sure that it's kind of floating as best as you can right across the edge. And then you're going to go do the same thing. We're going to put the big piece here and the little piece here on the other panel side. The little piece. Stick the only finger there. And that's how you get that panel. So you have your big panels, you put it up, you have your little panels, and then you have the brown part. And we'll get to that in a second. So our next two pieces that we want is the gray granite piece, which is going to be mounted inside there. So we do that right away. So I'd rather get all the pieces out of the way so then we don't lose them. Oh no. You're getting close to the end of my tear tape there. For my Stampin' seal. So you want to put that gray granite piece right in that middle part. You want to make sure the bottom and the top line up to your panels as well if you can. You want to give yourself a nice amount of space between all four sides. I push that in. So now you have the gray panel inside. See how that looks? Like, ta-da! And then we're going to just put that off to the side because now we're going to get messy. Ooh, off to the side. Oh, so we're going to want our pretty peacock ink and your blending brush and your matching Stampin' Right marker. Or a blend. Either one could go because you could flick with both type of markers. This one is just be a little bit, I find this one's a little bit more of a smaller splatter and a little bit darker in tone versus the blends, in my opinion, but whatever you're comfortable with, you can do. You could also do black if you want to do black too. And what we want to do is we want to get some of this ink onto our brush, because what we're going to be doing is blending that corner. We don't want it super dark, but we want it darker in the corner and we want to blend it just kind of like a C or like a little bit of the corner.
Hmm.
So I always start off and I work in the corner because that's obviously the darkest spot I'm going to go. And then I work up the edge and I work up the edge. And then I kind of come back in. And I do sort of, like, I guess, like a back and forth motion, like a C or like a, I don't know. And then you can buff it out to the top. Each one's going to be a little bit different. So you just got to do doing a light color coat. Nothing super fancy. So it kind of looks like that. And if you want, you could do Lost Lagoon. You can make it both colors. It's your personal choice. And then I'm going to take my big fat tip end, which has the marker tip. And then I'm going to take my lid. Now, I know some people do this tap, tap, tap. I haven't really found that works the best for me. Maybe it does for other people, but maybe I'm not strong enough. But I just find this works just as well. And you just give it a couple of flicks. It's up to you how many times or where you want it. And that's what I mean. It's just a little smaller of a flick and a little bit darker color when you use the marker versus the blend. And then you can mount this inside your card, because then the rest of the stuff we're just basically decorating, gluing in once you get it done. So I'm going to take my cloth. I don't know if you guys have a cloth near you, but you want to make sure after you do anything like that to clean up your ink. Because if you're anything like me, you're going to get your fingers all in it, and then you got to spread that color where you don't want it. So now I'm going to just take my, yeah, I've done that one. Okay. So adhesive on the back. And make sure you put the color part corner down in the bottom corner, because you don't want it this way, you want it this way. You want a little border of that gray granite to peek out. Like so. Just give it a nice press. I didn't step anything on inside the card. Now this is the point, I suppose, if you want to put a greeting or you want to say something, you could do your stamping, but I left it blank. Just preference. So yeah, so that's how you get all those pieces together.
Kim, can you just show how you the technique you do use to flick, please?
Oh, sure. Let me find a piece of paper. So I just, like I said, I use the right markers, like our regular water soluble markers, where the blends, they have the same idea, but mine is, I just find that it dries quicker, but it doesn't give the same crisp dot. So you just gotta take your marker lid, hold your marker with the brush tip, and you're just gonna put that tip just barely inside that marker lid. Like, you're not putting that much in there. And you're just basically pushing it against that outer edge away from you, and it just flicks. And of course, the more you do it, the darker you, and then you want to keep rotating your marker, because you don't want the flick to wreck your marker tip on one side. So if you rotate it, it's going to keep their marker with that nice tip. Now, over time, and if you do this a lot, it will wreck your marker tip. I'm just putting that out there. But for like little quick things like this, and you're just doing it occasionally, it doesn't hurt it whatsoever. But like I said, the more you do it, like my black one, because I tend to do black more than any other color. This was my brand new one, but usually by that time, this tip is all like frayed and worn. So then that's like, well, I'm getting a new black marker.
Wow, thank you. That works really well.
But yeah, like I said, this is just a finer, misty look to it. If you want chunkier or bigger, then I would go with the blends. But both work. And again, like I said, that's like, if you do anything, you want to make sure you clean up your ink. Because my luck tends to be like mess. So then in your little bits and bobs, you're going to have your circle. You're going to have your little sleeping or laid back otter, your parent otter, and your baby otter. You're going to have, I think, either 4 or 5, I can remember. And they're going to be maybe 2 sizes. You might have them all the same, because you can always rip these long ones wherever you need them to get the difference in length. And this is out of lemon lime twist is what I use for this color. But when I brush it with the granny green, you can see the difference. And how it just gives that extra bit of a layer of tone to it. So if you don't want to, you don't have to do this step, but it does give it just an extra layer of interest. Is where you take your color and you just wipe your ink onto the edges. And you can go as dark or as light as you want. But I said it's up to you if you want to do that. Of course, you're going to have your love you, so you put that off to the side. You should have one big rock in pebble path. You should have a little baby rock and a medium rock in gray granite. So that's what the little rocks look like. Then you should have, I think, 6. You should have probably 3 big and 3 small because there is different sizes to these. And they're in Pretty Peacock is the color paper that they're in. And what I did with those is the same technique as I did the lemon lime. Is I did it with Pretty Peacock ink over top to give it just a deeper color and a different shade. And then once I had that all done, like I can do it real quick. You take your brush or dauber, depending on what you have, and you're just gonna quickly, nothing fancy. You don't have to go right to the end because remember, we're gonna be tucking these in behind things. And you're just making that paper a little tone darker. So as you can see with this one, how the bottom is lighter and the top is darker. That's all that ink is doing. It's just giving it a little bit more interest, I guess. Not really texture, but interest. And then once you're done, there, then you take your Wink of Stella, wherever I put that, and then you're just going to quickly do a brush right over that ink that you just added. It doesn't have to be neat. It doesn't have to be perfect on every single leaf. You can have some of the paper show. It doesn't matter. But it does add some really pretty glitter. See how that shimmers? There you go. You see it a little bit better. It just shows off that ink color a little bit more. And of course, you're in C, so you want something a little sparkly in the C. So that's what I did with all those little blue ones. So you want to color all those and tuck them off to the side. And I'm going to take them off again. I don't want blue on my green. Not yet. Then I'm going to take my Granny Apple Green. I'm doing the same process, but this time I'm doing the leaves, the bigger leaves. And I already got a couple of those already done. But it's the idea the same. You just and if you want a different green, you could add Old Olive to it. But I wanted like a brighter tone, so that's why I used Granny Apple Green. And you can go it as many times as you like until you get the color that you want. And then that's all you do with those. And you can put those off to the side because that's all we're coloring on that. And I'm going to take my cloth. And then I'm going to take my gray granite. And this is where I just took my stamp with the dots. And I just grabbed an extra piece of scrap because I don't want them super dark. And then I'm just stamping them over top of the little rocks. Again, this step you could totally avoid if you don't want to do it. But it just gives, again, just something different to look at. And that's all we're doing with that color. And that's all we're using for that stamp. So that's all we need that for. And then you can put those off to the side. Then we're going to take our circle. And I usually start with the lighter color first. So I'm going to go with Lost Lagoon because I'm done with the Granny. Put it over here. I love Lost Lagoon. And what you could do is just wipe off some of your excess ink from the Pretty Peacock on a cloth or a piece of paper. just so that, because I use one brush for all blues. I don't have one for each color. So then I go into my Lost Lagoon, give it a nice coating. And you want to do the bottom half. And again, I do the same idea where I'm starting off the edge and then I'm bringing my way in. And I'm getting it a little bit more in the middle, and then I can go back and forth, gather up some more ink. It's up to you how light or how dark you want this color to be. So that's kind of how light I'm going to go with. Then I'm going to bring back Pretty Peacock. Do the same technique because I don't really need to clean my brush because I'm going from a lighter to a darker. I'm turning the circle to the other side. And again, the same technique. I'm starting off the edge. And then I'm slowly working my way up. So then I can blend those two colors together. Like I said, it's up to you if you want to make one darker, or I'm pretty happy with that. So there's my darker side and my side. Even though it looks like it's white in the middle up close in person, it's not. It's actually quite blended.
What was the other color you used besides Pretty Peacock?
Lost Lagoon.
Lost of them. Okay, sorry, thanks.
Yeah, those are the two blues I used. You could use probably Balmy Blue as well. That would work. And Night of Navy would be a good color choice, but I was going with the colors that are in the DSP paper. That's how I picked the colors. And then, oh, I guess I do an 8. And then I'm taking back my great granite. I spoke too soon. And then I'm just going to go back to those little, and this is where you need the little finger dauber because these are way too big. And you're just going to lightly, it's an old technique where you used to just do the outer edge of our paper with a color. And it's up to you how dark or messy you want to make it. And you're just going to go around all 3 rocks. All the way around. Go to the rock. And even with Pebble Path, I'm going to do the same great granite on it. And that's it for the dauber. Those are all done. And of course, then you have a pile of these glitter fish. You're going to have medium, small, and super, super, super tiny. And this is retired glitter paper, but I thought it really matched really well. So you'll have a whole bunch. So the next step is bringing in your little guys. And I'm going to bring in this color, this color. I'm going to do this one first. And I always start working my colors from light to dark. And I like the bullet tip personally when it's fine things. And what I'm doing, I'm just going to color. I'm not being 100% careful because I don't care if there's white showing either, because I'm layering these colors. The first layer I'm doing is the light lemon lime twist if you have it, or granny apple green if that's the color you're going with, or a guy I'm using retired parakeet party. And I'm just doing the grasses and the little leaves. Like so. So there's my first layer, light green. Like I said, it's nothing super neat or pretty. Like I try to stay in the lines, but I mean, it's nothing outstanding. Then I'm going to come back with a bit darker. And I'm just kind of going like, kind of like a tap tap. I'm just kind of doing like a swish of color, like a swoosh. Do that on both sides. With this greenery. So now it's starting to look a little layered with the color. I don't think you can tell that too much. And then I'm going to come in with my light peacock. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start adding some light peacock to that greenery. There's no real rhyme or reason, it's just layering it on. because you can blend other colors with each other. So that's where I'm adding a little bit of the blue. You can see like just sort of like little, not dashes, but like swooshes, I guess. And then I'm going to come back in with the dark, and I'm going to focus the dark more on the bottom of things, where it's nearest the stem, because the dark is very, very dark. You don't want to wash out all that extra kind of layering of color you just did. And same with the grass tips. I'm just kind of either outer edge or near the base of the plant, because that's obviously where the shadow is going to be. And it just adds in another layer of where that pretty peacock comes in. And doesn't that look totally cool when you get all those layers together? And that's how you do leaves. And that's all the colors you're doing for leaves, is that one little image. The other two don't have leaves. So once you're done these two colors, you can probably just put them off to the side. Because now we're going to be working more with the brown tones, the color lifter, and the pink. I said, depending if you want to do cheeks or not, that's a total personal choice. But yeah, and again, I'm always starting with my lightest colors in browns. This isn't a color. This just helps you if you make a boo-boo or if you want to lighten an area. And the pink is just for cheeks. That's, again, an option. So we're going to start with crumb cake light. And we're just going to go in and kind of give a, I guess, a base layer would be a good term for it. And this I do try to stay in the lines. Mm-hmm. Little base. And I'm not being overly neat about it. I'm just doing a quick scribble, I guess, because I just want that layer down. And this marker's starting to dry out on me too. So if yours is a little newer or fresher, then probably look a little bit different than mine is. Here, whatever. So that's my first layer, the crumb cake. Like, it's just kind of like a very light. If that's how you want your little guys to look, you can stop there, but that's not me, so I'm going forward. Now I'm taking my dark crumb cake, and this is where you're focusing a little bit more on, natural lines of where things will be darker than others. Like definitely in the chest area, the little marks that the artist already gives you as places, a little bit on top of the head, on the back, around the bum, because that's shadowed by the plant, on the bottom of the tail, little armpits here. Around hip area, again on her, I'll just do a little bit over here, along her back, and the area. So it just looks like you're kind of outlining. Again, it's nothing super fancy. You're just kind of doing an outline, and mine's not even perfect. Then I'm going to come back in with my crumb cake, and that's where I'm going to start to blend that in a little bit. And this is like, because you're using all these different colors, you're going to do a lot of blending. And as you blend and add layers, your drawing will become darker in color, even though you're using a light color. But that's okay. That's what gives it that really cool look. And plus, it makes this really cool squeaky sound. So as you can see, now that I put that extra layer crumb, like, you don't see the lines as much, but it does give that extra tone. So this is where you come back. And again, it's up to you. You can stop at this point if you want. But sometimes I just want to add a little bit extra color difference because otters aren't always one color. Shadow again, you're going where that is. And this is I'm using soft suede, so it is a little bit different color brown. You can decide where you want. Chin there. On her back. So again, it looks like just did a bit of outlining. So it just adds that extra bit of coloring. And you can stop at that, and that's a cool look in itself. But again, I'm going to go back to my lightest color again. I'm going to work, maybe not all the areas, but maybe the areas where I got a little bit too thick in my coloring, or maybe I didn't like the way it was. I found it a little too dark or harsh. You just want to blend that out. Like that, so I'm happy with that. And then I'm going again finally with my darkest color. And I'm doing light hand, like I'm not gonna do a big thick line with this one. And this one is dark pebble path, and I'm just gonna follow where the artist has already kind of done some scribble lines. Go where the shadow is gonna be underneath the tummy, thigh area. If you want, you can put some on the tail just to give it a little bit of interest. Okay. Upper back maybe. Cover here. Looks like that, and that you could totally leave that way and it'd be perfectly fine. But again, if you feel like, oh, that might have been a little too harsh, I want to blend that out, well, then you just bring your lightest of all your colors you're using. You just go over where you kind of blend it a little bit until you're happy with it. And sometimes you don't have to do much, because all you're really wanting to do is soften that line. You may not want it to be so harsh, and that's basically all you do. And then you grab your pink, you give her a little cheeky cheek. Give him a little cheeky cheek. And there you see the little bit of pink. It's really, really faint.
What color is the body, Kim?
I use Crumb Cake Light and Dark, Pebble Path Dark as my last color, and then I did the light soft suede, but you could use Pecan Pie if you have that color. That'd be a really good color. Okay. Or Copper Clay would be another good color. And if you're looking for retired colors, even that Cinnamon Cider, though that's a little bit more reddy. It all depends if you want a more red tone.
Okay, great.
But that you're not liking where it is, then you take your color lifter and you can, just scribble. Just remember that when you use this, it takes a little moment to show its magic.
Okay.
But light-handed with the color lifter at first, because over time it just fades away that ink, and that's where you can get some more highlights if you want highlights. So you can see right now it's just starting to lighten up here in the tummy area that I kind of did a little scribble, and a little scribble on her bum, a little bit on his side here. So just lightly turning it a little bit lighter. And you do the same process for the other two little guys. The same colors and stuff, because they're all like the same little otter family and stuff. So, and of course, if you want the baby a little lighter because he hasn't matured yet, you can keep him really light. So, it's little guy.
Hey, you guys, while you're finishing coloring, I'm going to give away a grand prize today to everyone who's in attendance. I've got a pretty bag. It's very pretty, right? Cheryl gave me the idea of attaching the cute tag, the pretty tag, to a white bag. And let me tell you, it worked with some Coastal Cabana tissue. But the question is, what's inside? One of you is going to win the Grow with Love bundle. I don't know if you've seen it. I think it's an online exclusive, but it's beautiful. It's all about you know, the seeds. It's the seed packet dies. So basil, rosemary, mint, and thyme. Some beautiful sayings. So anyways, one of you is going to win this. Let's see who that's going to be. Now let's make sure I have the right names. So if I'm missing you, please let me know. I have Cheryl, Sue, Kim, Karen, Deborah, Sherry, Lorette, and Chantel. Am I missing someone? Tom's waving his arms. Sorry, Tom, you don't get this. Okay. Well, I'm going to put it up here. Let's see who the lucky winner is. Oh, what happened to all the names? They disappeared. Hopefully it tells us who won. It literally disappeared. Karen! Congratulations.
Wow, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah, you're
Wow.
welcome. That's a
Lucky.
great prize. And I've got a few more things to give away as well. Kim, do I have time to give away one more?
Yep.
Okay, well, then let's give away the Everyday You and Me 12 by 12 two-tone cardstock. So this is part of the scrapbooking collection if you haven't gone to look at the new brochure, but it's some beautiful paper. And in fact, it coordinates with this card we're making. Inside the pack, you'll find an assortment of two-tone that's in gray granite, Lost Lagoon, Mossy Meadow, Pecan Pie, Pretty Peacock, and Very Vanilla. So let's see who the winner is. Chantel, it looks like you. Congratulations. And we'll give away the last one after you guys are done this card.
Oh, my mic was on. Thank you.
Excuse me. There. You want his tummy to be a little lighter, then that's where you come in with your color lifter. His tummy a little lighter in his chest to make it match. And that's how you color them. Like, I mean, it's up to you how dark and light you want to go, but you make them. And the little guy's actually the easiest because there's not much to color on that little guy. And that's all you're coloring. We can put that off to the side and put our inks away. Bring back our card, our piece, and all our bits and stuff. Waters together, rocks together, greenery together. Perfect. So you're going to take a glue dot on the baby rock, put it on the left corner, and then you're going to take your dark pebble path rock. You're just going to put them together a little bit. So, and then both of those rocks will get a dimensional on the back. And now we're putting things together. Not there, not there. Most are done. Then you're going to take one of your long and one of your smaller pieces of your green plant. Just gonna set it in the middle here. Then you're gonna take one of your bigger pieces and one of your smaller pieces of your pretty peacock. Put that in the middle. You're gonna take your long otter. So you gotta come over here to the middle. Then you're gonna take your fish. Gonna go through them. Because you want 3 super tiny. Super tiny. And then you want 3 of the kind of medium-ish. If you have them, I have kind of all the same size here because I ran out of the big ones. I ran out of the paper, so mine will be a little bit different than yours, and 1 big one. So this is where you're going to need liquid glue because these are way too tiny. Try to put a glue dot on or, dimensional, anything like that. So we're going to take all these pieces off first. And we're going to take the green. Take a small piece. Pieces might be heavy. You just lightly put a few dabs of glue. You don't want it totally covered because you want to be able to maneuver these leaves a little bit. You just want to keep that onto the white part of the cardstock. Like so. So you don't want it hanging off to the edge. You just want it near the bottom of the white piece. Then you're going to take the long piece of the green. Just a little bit of glue here and there. And then you're just going to kind of crisscross over that first piece of green. You want to make sure that it stays within that border edge of your very granite because you don't want it poking over here because then your card won't be able to fold properly. You'll bend your leaves. So give that a bit of a squish. Then you're going to take the pretty peacock big piece, and you're basically doing the same thing, putting a bit of glue back. And you're just going to float that over top of that. Take your smaller one. Bit of glue on that. Kind of crisscross it there. So you kind of have a little cluster of your greenery in the corner. Then you're going to take one of your little bigger fish. A little bit of glue. And you're just going to have them come peeking out from one of those leaves. He's just going to peekaboo. There he is. Then you're going to take another one of the bigger ones, or medium. Put some glue on it. And swim it at the top. You don't want to put too much glue because you don't want to squish it all out either. Then it just makes a big mess. This would be a good idea to use that sticker backing too. But I didn't think of it till now. And here, because we didn't put all the glue down on all these leaves, is we want to be able to maneuver these peekaboo fish. So one more, if you have set it. 3 medium and 1 big. If you're lucky to get those ones, I lost track of fish over time. And then this guy's just going to be swimming over here, kind of in the open. Then you got to take your little otter, and he's flat, no dimension on him, so you can put your adhesive liquid glue all over him. And then I'm just going to have him, you want to make sure his tail is inside that white page. And he's just kind of hanging out at the bottom of the swim zone, swimming over the plants. And give him this good push and hold it there for a little bit. Then that's where you can just quickly do a little triple dots of glue here, here, here. Then you're going to take your weeny teeny little guys and place them in the glue. So if you have tweezers, this might be easier. The other little guy. Last one. That's how you do your little school of fish. So inside I have the card done.
As much as I'm not a critter person, that's actually really super cute, Kim. Love the fish.
And what's nice about the die is it cuts out all those fish at different sizes at one go. So it's like a plate that gives you many fish in one time. So like one fish at a time.
Yeah, and then hopefully people have the double-sided adhesive sheet so then they can just peel and stick them.
Yeah, that too. Hindsight's 2020. Should have done
No,
that.
no, no, but it wouldn't have mattered with yours because they would have all fallen out and you still have to pick them up and it's probably harder to peel and
So once you've done the inside, we'll just put that whole big piece off to the side and we'll bring back our two-tone circle where we have the Lost Lagoon and the pretty peacock. I'll bring this card in so you can see how I did it. Mine doesn't want to stay shut. Maybe you'll get lucky and have yours. So they will put that off to the side. So, Chris, you're going to need on the front of your card, you're going to have the mom and dad and the little baby. And the baby gets put on dimensional. I use half dimensionals or sometimes half of a half, or you can use your mini. So I just do that first. And I put him right in the middle because he's like right in their lap. And that's how he goes on. So he just pops up a little bit. And it helps cover up that layer of white that kind of shows in underneath. If it really bothers you, you could probably color it out with the color of Lost Lagoon or something to make it blend in, but I didn't. So that's how you do that. And then you're going to take your rock, put them off to the side. Now you want to get your long green and have your pretty peacock big one and small one, because you should have two sets of those. Here. So this, I'm just going to take one and I'm just going to kind of cut it in half. And then I'll just trim off where I tore that leaf or branch off a little bit. And just blend it in so it doesn't even look like I did anything. That's how you get more out of your leaves sometimes. Because you're not going to see, you're tucking it behind the circle or like behind the critter. So you're only seeing a little bit poke out. So you might as well make the best use out of your paper. So again, I'll just bring a bit of glue. I'm having that spray probably about in the middle. Lay your critter in the middle to see where you want it. I'm going to take the next piece. Then you're going to take the same thing with your pretty peacock. Tucking and peeking out a little bit. This I'm just loose, it's not even attached yet. I'm just kind of putting it there so I know where I want my greenery to go. And then same thing on this side. This one has three, so I'm going to have one poking out a little bit longer. Trim off this one a little bit. a little up to the top, and then one I'm going to have the bottom again. I find this one might be just a little long for me, so you can adjust it to your liking. Tuck it in at the bottom. And this side, you're doing the opposite. Instead of being at the top, you're going at the bottom with your pretty peacock pieces. Goes to the side. Then I'm going to take my little fish again and sort through them. So I'm going to have a bigger fish here. And then I'm going to have, let's do tiny. Switch from there. What's nice with those is when you have time to wiggle your fish around to how you like it. And then now, I got the two fish at the top, got my leaves in. Now I'm going to take my guys and put them on dimensionals. I kind of focus mostly on the inside of the animal, not the leaves per se, because it's kind of hanging over the side. Then I come back, I place them where I want them, so the green comes out. I'm going to take that double rock that we did, the two big and the little, and I'm just going to tuck it right at the bottom, underneath the tail, just like on the edge, like so. Then I'm going to take the other rock, and I'm going to do that off to the other side, but I want it to be kind of off the edge a little bit, like so. And then you're going to go and get your string. Like I said, it's super easy tie. And then it's really easy to maneuver how you want if you want. And you want to have it like a very big loop with little tails. Like so. You want it to be nice and like bulky loop. Then you're going to take your love you, and you want that to kind of be right under the word love. What I like doing, putting it on the back, like that where the knot is, because I don't see the knot. And then sometimes what I do is take my tear tape, go right over that knot. So now it's here, doesn't come off, like so. So then we're done that part, and then I'm just trying to remember what I did here. Yeah, I did do that. Okay. Then I take dimensional again, put it over top of this one edge. Just gonna put a little bit of newer piece on the other side. Bring back my little cluster that I'm working on. And I want to put that just below the baby. So you still see the baby, you still see some of the blue. And once you've done that, you've got to come back and put 3 more fish, or 2 more fish, or whatever fish you feel you want to put on there. But I originally did. 3 on the bottom. A big guy and 2 littles. And then the last thing we'll do is embellishments. I'll put another fish up here because it looks better this time. My extra fish, don't need them. Then come in with your embellishments. Take the big one and you're putting it on right underneath that corner of the rock, and you're going to take the 2 littles and you're going to tuck them just underneath the word, the bottom there, so it peeks out, and off to the top, like a trio, like a diamond or a triangle shape. If you're lucky to get them to work for you. There you go. So they're just poking out. And that's your little panel done. The opposite side. Don't need that glue anymore. Yeah.
Kim, super cute card. Oh my gosh, I love this. While you're finishing up putting that on to show everyone how to close it, I'm going to give away another prize. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay, so for this, because Valentine's Day is just around the corner, I thought some of you might be able to use the Marbled Elegance 12 by 12 paper. I mean, even if you're not using it for Valentine's Day projects, it's great paper because it's got some florals in it and just some marbled pretties. Oh, I guess you couldn't really see. I didn't have my video on. It's the Marbled Elegance, which has that melon mambo florals. And so the lucky winner is Lorette. It looks like you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Tricia.
So then what you want to do is make sure your little critter on the inside is, the right way. You want to close your card, and then you only want to put dimensionals on the 1/2. And then you're going to line that up so that you can center it. Push down and make sure when you open it, you don't see any dimensionals because you don't want that sticking. And that's how you do the panel. And then the last thing we're going to do is then and I use tear tape because you're going to be opening and shutting a lot. I figured it'd be a better tape to use. Or liquid glue. That's another one. I use tear tape. And you go on the back. You close your card down. You go on that middle panel. You got to put your tear tape on it. And take off the backing. Now you have your tape. You're going to keep your card shut because we're using this middle marking. You're going to take your backing that we have, that piece of gray granite that I did with the embossing folder. You're going to hold this shut and you're going to eyeball it so that it kind of gives you about equal portion of gray granite to the left and right. And then lay it down in your card so that it lines up to the edges. And that's how you get it onto the back. And you're done. Ta-da!
This is a cute card, Kim.
Thank you.
And it's a detail card that these ladies would never get from me, so I appreciate it.
Very
And it's not an ordinary Valentine card, it's just something else. So
yeah.
And showing off the new product that I believe this might be an online exclusive. I can't remember though. The Otter Suite.
Oh, I think I'm going to have to go.
Oh yeah, you've already won a prize. You're good. Thanks.
Yeah, I forgot to plug this thing in today.
Hey, well, you did good. It's like
Yeah,
9:12. You're like right on time.
2%. Yep. Okay, good night, everybody.
Bye.
Right. Okay, one last prize, you guys. We've got the celebration set documenting the day. I love this stamp set. I think it's cute. You can use the hearts and the sun for cards or even some of those other words. Granted, it's nice and big for scrapbooking, but you can use it for anything. And because it's geared for scrapbooking, I sense that some of you may not have taken it as your freebie. I don't know. Sherry, that one's yours.
Oh, well, thank you.
Congratulations.
I would use that even without scrapbooking.
Oh, and by the way, FYI, I have a bag of stuff for you, and I put it in the mailbox, but I forgot to tell you it was here when you dropped off those bags. So
I didn't even look in the mailbox.
Bag.
Yeah, I didn't even look. I'll probably come. Well, is it still in the mailbox?
No, but I can put it in there.
Okay. Yeah. Tomorrow's Monday? Sure. I'll pop out tomorrow and grab it, Tricia.
Okay, sounds good. I'll leave it out tomorrow.
Please and thank you. Thank you.
And and because that was the last of the card, and I don't really have any more information to share other than the next meeting, which is the first Sunday of March, which is March 2nd. And I don't know what it's about. I think it's celebrations.
It's about scrapbooking.
Oh, March is scrapbooking month. Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you, Kim. We're going to feature the scrapbooking project or products. So join us if you can, and let Kim know if you haven't already pre-purchased your monthly kits for $5. Kim will prep us something, and Kim, if you need anything, you and I can work together with regards to like scrapbook pages or just using the scrapbook products into cards. We'll figure that out, but I'm going to end the recording here.